Hello and welcome back to Off the Post. In today's episode, I'll be discussing whether Manchester City can win the treble this season. But before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes a long way for me to build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. I just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely it's going unnoticed. And yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you, really. But let's get straight into the episode, shall we? Now, when we discuss whether or not Manchester City can win the treble, of course we're discussing that because they've recently won the Carabao Cup against Arsenal and they're still in the FA Cup against Liverpool this weekend, okay? So from that point of view, they can definitely go on and potentially win at least two trophies this season. But when we discuss can they catch up to Arsenal in the Premier League, they're only 9 points behind with 8 games left to play. Man City could definitely go and do it, couldn't they? Because of the wonders that Pep Guardiola can do for his side. Honestly, you know, a few weeks ago in the Carabao Cup, I did not think they was going to win it whatsoever. I thought that was Arsenal's for the taking, but I couldn't have been more wrong, could I? Honestly, Man City came out in that game and they absolutely bossed it. And for me, Nico O'Reilly scoring both goals goes to show the level and the depth of their squad, okay? The left back scoring you the goals. Of course, he was playing midfield that game, I do get it, and whatnot. However, you know, a youngster, an English youngster in Nico O'Reilly, just absolutely bossing it in the Carabao Cup final was absolutely fantastic to see. When we think about how fantastic Arsenal are defensively, you know, it was good to see that anyways. But when we just quickly discuss now, their next game in the FA Cup in the quarterfinals against Liverpool, who's going to be the most likely to win that game? I'm still going to have to say Man City just because they've got everything there for the taking, don't they? Don't get me wrong, Donnarumma, I don't know whether he'll start or not. It might be James Trafford in goal, of course. I think it might be the same team that played against Arsenal in the Carabao Cup final. Obviously we've been on international break for now 2 weeks, coming back off of that, of course. So I think Pep Guardiola will go with the same team. You know, James Trafford in goal, Nico O'Reilly, Haaland. I feel like you probably see Doku in there, Semenyo, maybe Rodri potentially as well. Ruben Diaz, Marguerite, all these types of players, and I feel like that'd be a strong enough team to go there and beat Liverpool. Just because, with the recent news of Alisson potentially being out injured, okay, for the next couple of weeks, or it might be a long term injury. You got to play your second goalkeeper in Manchester City, okay, the Georgian goalkeeper, okay, probably butchers his name. You know me by now. I'm terrible with names, so I do apologise. But he's only played 13 games this season, I'm pretty sure, and he's only kept 3 clean sheets. So from that point of view, since he signed from Valencia for like 20 million, 29 million, something like that, he just hasn't been that impressive as I thought he would do. Maybe he's starting to come into the Liverpool side and potentially replace Alisson at the back end of the season, and we might have to see that for the start of next season as well. Manchester City is definitely a massive drop off to the Brazilian goalkeeper. So from that point of view, we just don't know as well. And also we're going to be missing some other players in the likes of Conor Bradley, Jeremy Frimpong is out injured as well. I think Mohamed Salah might be back. I think Hugo TK might be back as well. That's definitely given him a boost in there because I think, I think the game against Brighton, he might have went down with a knock, didn't he, Hugh Ekitike? But he sort of did start for France, and he did actually get a goal as well for his national side. So from that point of view, it will give him a boost. It will give him, a little confidence booster in there to sort of go on and potentially score a few goals against Man City. But again, I just can't see it. Okay, for me in this game, I reckon Man City will just do what they did against Arsenal to Liverpool. They'll dominate the ball. They'll suffocate that midfield. They'll suffocate the attacking line or Liverpool's defensive line, sorry, and they'll make it so hard for Liverpool to get on the ball, and they'll just close out the game. So it'll be that simple for Pep Guardiola for Manchester City. I feel like they'll just create chance after chance. They'll cross it into the box as soon as they get the ball on either side. Okay, the main position you got to look out for Liverpool is their right back. Because at the moment with those two main players out being injured, you're gonna have to replace them with either Joe Gomez or Slavsby. For me, don't get me wrong, both players I do like them. They don't have the same aspect. They don't have the same feeling. They don't have the same positional awareness, defensive awareness as the likes of a Jeremy Frimpong and a Conor Bradley, I suppose. Don't get me wrong, they're both attacking fullbacks, but I feel like they probably would be better off with those two in there rather than the other two at the moment. So you got to think to yourself, Doku running that, either Joe Gomez or Slomsby, he's not going to make it easy on them, is he, at all? He's going to run to the byline, get the balls into the box, and he's going to try and put it back out to a Nico Riley, a Ryan Churchy, a Semenyo, a Haaland, and I feel like they'll easily get you the goals in this game. But you got to think to yourself, where are the benefits? Where are the positives for Liverpool? I think one positive would be Mohamed Salah coming back. He's a world class player on his day. It just depends whether he'll link up with the likes of Slozai, Gakpo, Flivian Wirtz, whoever's in the forward lines. If I feel like, you know, he's been a little bit, selfish at times this season. He's been a little bit unselfish as well. I feel like, at the start of the season, it just wasn't working for Mohamed Salah. He's starting to find his feet a little bit. Don't get me wrong, with the news that he's announced to leave at the end of the season, it sort of takes the attention away from Mohamed Salah a little bit. It takes the attention away from Arne Slot with the whole situation, what's he going to do and what not. So it depends whether or not he's going to start, whether Gakpo's going to start, whether Flivian Wirtz might start on that right hand side, whoever it is. I feel like it has to be Mohamed Salah because he's the difference maker on his day. He's one of the world class players in the world in the world still, isn't he, at the moment? So for me, could get you opportunities to score the goals. Even if not, he can still work wonders playing those through balls to Hugo TK, to Flivian Wirtz, to Gakpo. So yeah, as well, Hugo TK, for me, one of the main strikers that I've liked watching this season, isn't it, for me? He's one of my top three, top five players of the season in that striker position. I just absolutely love watching the French striker at the moment. He scores goals. He holds up the ball. He's very good at bringing in players as well. He's a good dribbler as well. I do like watching him. Maybe he could be the difference maker of Liverpool. I'm not too sure. I think one area that lets Liverpool down is the defence at the moment. I feel like the both fullbacks aren't good enough. For whatever reason, Kanata hasn't been good enough this season. And also the goalkeeper position. If you're not playing, Alisson this season, he's had I want to say 4 different injuries in the spell of he's had 4 different injuries this season, hasn't he, Alisson? So from that point of view, I think he's probably on the way out, isn't he, at the moment? Of course, he's at the age of 31, 32 maybe. I might have got that wrong, but he's getting on the back age of his career, so maybe it is time for the Georgian goalkeeper, Manjusvili, to sort of come in and potentially overtake him. Like I said at the start of the video, let's do a little score prediction for this game. I feel like Liverpool will make it hard for Man City, but I feel like they will have the upper edge, and I do think Man City will win at least 2-1. Okay, that's what I think they're going to do. I think that's what they're going to do. I reckon the goal scorer will probably be Haaland and maybe Jeremy Doku, because I feel like he's going to actually have an outstanding game for once. Don't get me wrong, he's a bit hit and miss, isn't he, Jeremy Doku? He's sort of good at dribbling, running at defenders, taking players on, but it's always his finishing product, the end product. It's not really there, is it, for the Belgian winger? And that's what he needs to get. That's what he needs to get firing on all cylinders, don't he? Because there is a player in there for the Belgian winger. He just needs to show it on a more regular basis, like an Antonio Semenyo has, like a Ryan Churchy has. And when you can bring the French midfielder on, in the 60th, 70th, 80th minute, whatever it is, I feel like having that firepower in the midfield, having that sort of player who can just absolutely boss the Liverpool midfielders, defenders with that little bit of flair, with the skills that he's got available to him, to almost slow down the game a little bit and to allow Manchester City to sort of soak up that pressure, allow Manchester City to take the pressure onto Liverpool and force them to have that pressure almost. I feel like he's a great player to have on to bring off the bench if you need to, if he's not starting the game at least anyways. Let me know in the comments down below your score predictions for this game. Do you think Man City will win? Do you think this will spur them on to potentially go on catch up Arsenal in the Premier League? Can they go and get 9 points to catch them up? Can they overtake them in the Premier League? Can they go on and win a treble this season? How do you feel about Liverpool as well? Can they get a good result against Manchester City in the Cup, or will they try and focus on the Champions League? I didn't even mention the Champions League. Obviously, they're playing PSG as well in the coming weeks. So for me, what competition will I rather focus on? Because they have been playing good in these cup competitions, haven't they? They're just not performing in the league. Can they finish in the top five still in the Premier League? Will I try and focus on trying to win one of these cup competitions? And yeah, before that, as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. It's very much appreciated, and it goes along with having me build a small community on my channel. We've recently just hit 300 subscribers. Achieve my main target. Can we go and get 500? That's my next one. Yes, please. Hopefully we can do it. I'll be absolutely over the moon. I'll be so buzzing. And yeah, I just want to say a massive thank you for the recent support on our most recent episodes, all the likes and the comments on social media as well. Definitely going to notice. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.